It's the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, Paula and I are talking about the coronavirus hysteria. This and a new version of The Bachelor is coming, and I am obsessed with it. Plus, our Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie.
They laughed at us. They laughed at us, but look at us now.
Paula.
I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 444 5555. Remember that? No, remember that? That's the number for the classifieds. So ask the union for your 444 5555. It was the Sacramento Union. It's a defunct newspaper.
You know what I showed Ryan the other night? I said, this is Cal Worthington and his dog Spot. If you're something, go see Cal.
Go see Cal.
Okay, but then at the end, I said, everyone always said, pussy cow, pussy cow, pussy cow. And Victor's like, no one said that. I'm like, they did too. And so I
think they did.
They have a video on YouTube. And I forgot he used to do all these weird stunts like on airplanes and like.
It's like, this is Cal Worthington and my dog Spot.
And he'd do like handstands on top of a car that was driving down the street or something. And he was old.
Cal Worthington was a beloved staple of Sacramento County.
Well,
like,
he
very
owned
beloved.
a lot of car dealerships, but a lot of them were in Sacramento.
He sold a lot of cars here, and he loved the community. He was beloved. I think he died at like 97 or something. And it was like forever ago, of course, because he was old back then. I love things like that, where they were here in like the 1940s and they built it from the ground up, and, you know, they did the crazy, you know, ads that everyone hated but loved. They're like, oh, what's Cal Worthington's dog this week? Is it a donkey? You know, it's always something.
Yeah, he would be walking a pig in the parking lot with a rope. So anyway, Victor, I said, well, everyone used to say pussy cow, pussy cow, pussy cow. He's like, Paula, no one ever said that. I'm like, they did too. So
you saw the video.
I scrolled down to the comments, and what did the first comment say?
Pussy
Everyone's
cow.
just like, I always thought it said pussy cow, pussy cow, pussy cow. And they're like, I remember saying pussy cow, pussy cow, pussy cow. Everyone said it. I'm like, everyone said it.
Chuck one up to me.
And
I'm ahead of you now.
Ryan's hysterical because I said pussy. And
of course, because that can only mean one thing.
I was surprised he even knew what it meant.
Well, that's because you think your children are 10 years younger than they actually are.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know what the word cock is, because I said, was I saying cock? I wasn't. I said,
Paula, you cannot speak like that in front of your children.
Well, his friend was over, so I said CT.
Well, I wouldn't even know what that is.
I was saying it's a word you can never call a girl. And I said, it starts with a C. Yes. And then him and his friend were kind of puzzled, and they're like, come? I'm like, no, that's not it. I'm like, never mind. Pretend I didn't say that.
No, you can't talk like that. A parent's going to call you. Say, did you say cunt in front of my son?
No, I said C.
Yes, that's not going to fly very
and
high.
I imply, and then your son said come. So who's the aggressor here? Really?
It shouldn't even be discussed. That's what I'm saying. Don't be that cool mom that gives them margaritas after school. Nobody likes that mom.
Oh, trust me. Ask Ryan if I'm cool. Ask him.
Okay. Said the woman who showed her 10-year-old boudoir photos.
Shut up.
Okay. Anyway, speaking of the C word, do you recall about a month ago when I said the coronavirus is coming and we all need to prepare? It's here.
It has arrived.
The coronavirus is here. Mm-hmm. Dun, dun, dun.
I know. We even got a letter from the school telling us, like, you know, what the lowdown is if it penetrates the schools.
It has penetrated my daughter's school. So now they received all these emergency memos from the school districts of Los Rios saying some of the students that attend our school were exposed to the person who's in Davis with the coronavirus. And so they are in a voluntary quarantine for 2 weeks. You know, I was telling Daryl, I'm like, it's so crazy when now the person in Davis who was diagnosed with the coronavirus, who had showed symptoms as early as the 19th of Feb, is literally intubated. The person cannot speak or communicate, but you have to go down. Who have you talked to? Where did you go? What did you buy? Where do you work? You know, did you take your kids to school? Like, what Target did you go to? You have to go through the gamut. I mean, And I remember I was telling Daryl, I'm like, can you imagine if you get diagnosed with this and you have to go down the list of everything you did for 2 weeks, if you can remember, with receipts, and then think about all the people you could have potentially exposed. Thousands and thousands of people. And then it just ripples out.
Oh, mine would be easy. Well, except for, God damn it, we went to Reno. But other than that, I'd be like, yeah. I was home. I didn't go anywhere.
Well, except for your children. But, here's the quote unquote silver lining of the coronavirus is because children who go to school are so disgusting that they actually have no problem fighting off the coronavirus. They are not the ones dying from it. Anyway, so obviously the government is trying to downplay. There is not a significant amount, but they upped today. They said, okay, here's the thing. Yes, it's coming. This is what you need to be prepared for. Make sure you have enough medications to last you at least a month, because if we are shutting down, there won't be any Amazon. You won't get to go to Target. So make sure you have food, Advil, whatever, buy some Clorox wipes, get the Purell, wash your hands, sing happy birthday. And that's how that's the correct time to wash your hands, rinse.
The doomsday preppers are like, all right, people, this is what we've been training for.
Oh my God. There's a lot of rock hard survivalists right now getting into their bunker. They are thrilled. They're like, this is it, you guys. This is what we've been planning. They laughed at us. But look at us now,
Get off the guns.
Yeah.
Get up the hill.
We're ready. Yes.
Tonight.
God, it. They're like, the sex I'm going to have tonight with you.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. So I was like, all right, now I'm not panicking. I just want to be prepared. I'm just like, look, I don't want to be sitting around, holding Daryl's dick with no Advil. So I'm ordering,
Wait a minute,
I'm going to make, well, I just don't want to be stuck with, running out of Advil and then not being able to go to the store.
Yeah, I think there's a saying, when I worked at Dish Network, a lot of people said this because one of the main directors, he was like a hardcore Italian from like New York. And so he had this thick accent, and he was always saying like pretty like mean, gnarly things. He's just like, sure, I don't want to be standing here with this report with low numbers with my dick in my hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referring to. But I don't have a dick, so I said Daryl's dick. But anyway.
Okay. I was just like, Amal, you have to use Advil every time you have Daryl's dick in your hands?
It's very painful.
Wow. You are lucky.
So yes.
Okay.
Anyway, so I know that they are saying we don't need the masks. They're like, the masks are not going to help you. So I hear what you're saying. And so out of curiosity and out of human curiosity, I went to Amazon and all these other websites. You can't find a mask.
Really?
That they are gone, sold out. Now, we had some really bad fires the last 2 years. And so I think it was the end of 2018 or early 2019, we had a really bad fire, and it was orange. The valley was orange.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
And the particles were so bad, like, because there was so much chemicals burning, that they said, hey, if you're compromised, you should have the N95 mask, because any other kind, the molecules of these terrible carcinogens are going to get into your lungs. So at the time, I bought a 10-pack and I sent them to Mom, because our mom is kind of compromised. Mm-hmm. So I told her, I said, man, aren't you glad you have those N95s? Because I found one on eBay for $50. One. Wow. For $50. And so I realize we don't need them necessarily, but we do have the filters. We do have the masks that we can wear if we need them. I don't think we're going to need them, but I was like, all right, well, we've got those already. But I think a lot of Californians have those masks already because of the fires. Maybe. So I think we're good there.
Do you think the mask you bought for Olivia when she broke her tooth would be sufficient?
No, those aren't.
Okay.
Those aren't
just
N95s.
Like cotton masks. Okay.
Those are like little play surgeon masks.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to do anything.
I can't walk around with a emoji mask on my face.
Well, you can, but it's not going to save you from the coronavirus. Oh, and here's the other thing I read today. I can't even with you people. 38% of this country thinks that you can get coronavirus from drinking Corona beer.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not. They did a poll. Now, is it at all the same percentage of the people that voted for the current administration? Perhaps, but it is true. I went, come on, you guys. Corona is panicking. They're like, why is no one, we do not have coronavirus. But they're like, why did you name it Corona? Why couldn't you have named it Modelo virus? But
that is interesting.
So people will not, coronavirus is actually a common virus. It's very common. It's like a cold or flu virus, and they call it, it's a category of corona. And actually the official word is COVID-19. That's the virus that we're all worried about, is COVID-19. So it's just a coronavirus. It's not the coronavirus, really. Mm-hmm. So I read that and I was like, you people are morons. You're stupid. I hate you. I hate people. And then the other thing I read was, and this is xenophobic, by the way, not good people. They're avoiding Chinese food restaurants because they think that Chinese people have it.
Yeah, because that'll work.
So the person who was born in China, the people that were born in the United States, decided to honor their heritage and opened a Chinese restaurant. And they've been here for 50 years. Apparently, because they're Chinese, they might have the coronavirus, which is just bullshit. Horrifying to hear that. But it's a real thing. So don't avoid your Chinese food restaurants, and by all means, drink your Corona with a lime if you like. You know, it's not my favorite. But
I just read this morning that there was supposedly someone in San Joaquin Valley,
Solano County.
They transferred him to Folsom.
Yes.
Why are they bringing everybody here?
Well, I think they're transferring to where there's room, and if they have the hermetically sealed rooms, it's, it is what it is. And I think this is the person, is this not one of the people that was exposed to the person in Davis, who's at UC Davis right now?
I'm not sure.
And they got sick. I think they're healthcare workers, from what I recall.
Well, one, they said they don't know how they got it, because they said that they weren't in contact with anybody that had it.
Which is why everybody's alarmed, because this is the very first case right here in good old Sacramento, where they were never exposed to anything, which means there are people walking around that have it and they got it. And it's a 2-week, because like I told you, 2-week incubation period. We have no idea when it was going to show up, but sure as shit, it did.
Right.
So I just think there's no reason to panic, but they are saying prepare for the fact that you might not be able to go to work, or they might close the schools just to ensure that they're not spreading anything if kids start to get it. But what I did read is that if you are compromised in your lungs, if you're a smoker, if you're over the age of 50, if you're exposed to it, you will probably be affected by it. There's a lot of cases that they don't even realize they probably have it because they just think it's a cold or a flu. Mm-hmm. And they recover.
The key with this virus is it's all respiratory, pretty much.
Yes.
So they're saying, like, if you cough, if you have shortness of breath, if you feel like
fever,
definitely fever, but it's like it would almost feel like a pneumonia, I think is what they were saying, basically.
It is. And it's what's scary about it really is if you are, especially if you have a compromised lung system, is if it embeds so deeply into the lungs, and it's viral, which means they can't do anything about it.
Exactly. There's no antibiotic for it.
That's really scary. So you've just got to try to ride it out and hope you survive. Mm-hmm. And that to me is pretty crazy. I am not at all worried that I'm catching it. But I also know that I'm not going to act like, well, just another day in the hood. I'm going to make sure that I have, if they were to say, hey, we're not going to let anybody deliver, we're not going to let anybody go to Target or the grocery store or whatever, no deliveries. The only thing that scares me about that really is how many business owners I know that would lose everything.
Yeah.
If they closed the town down. Like, that really makes me sad.
I don't think that will happen. I really don't.
That's worst case scenario, of course. So anyway, everyone, just get your Purell, get your Lysol. They say alcohol kills it. So, get some rubbing alcohol if you need it, whatever. Just be prepared. It's just being prepared. It's not about impending doom. It's just be prepared.
When are you going to start wearing a mask?
I don't think I'm not going to wear a mask. They say the people in China were wearing masks because they were contagious.
Oh.
They were trying to keep themselves from giving it to others. They were being very polite.
If hundreds of people start getting it, I'm wearing it.
Me too. I mean, they say, I was listening to a thing and they said, this is akin to the Spanish flu. If they don't get this under control, basically everyone will know somebody who gets it. And of those people, maybe 1 in 6 will know someone who dies from it. And that would be severe. That would be like worst case. All right, moving on. Now, you know that I have this new obsession with The Bachelor.
Okay, so explain to me, is this a new entire season, or is this the same season?
There's a new there's a new season every year. So there's a new season of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette every year. And so right now I'm watching The Bachelor. And then in the summer they do Bachelor in Paradise, where they bring people from all the losers from all the different seasons onto a beach, and they try to find true love through a summer fling.
Okay, I have a question. Just one question.
Yeah.
Who is Hannah?
Oh, Hannah was the Bachelorette last season. Hannah B. She was on Dancing with the Stars, and she won, I believe. The current Bachelor is Pilot Pete, and he and Hannah in her season had sex in a windmill at some miniature golf course.
What?
Many times.
Wait.
Yes, many times.
Where? Pilot Pete?
Well, his name's Peter, but he's a pilot. He's an air pilot.
So him and his Peter had sex in the windmill?
Yes, so it was a huge thing because although...
Is she just like a big whore or what?
Well, I mean, Paula, if you were the Bachelorette and you had access to 20 incredibly attractive men, I mean, come on. I mean, you wouldn't take advantage?
No. If my goal was to find just one, I mean, maybe I'd give him like a fuck farewell. I'd be like... Okay. You know,
you can't talk until you watch. You have to watch The Bachelor before you can have these opinions, because then you'll get it. Then you will understand. But anyway, my point is this: I'm watching The Bachelor. It's almost over. There's like 2 more episodes, but they have been shooting. They've been pushing these promos. They're like, "Hey, do you want to be on The Bachelorette?" You know, they go to our website and fill out the application. So they do that.
I know what you're about to tell me.
So now they're like, are you a senior? Are you looking for love? Would you like to be on The Bachelor or Bachelorette Senior Edition? Go to this website and fill this out. Okay, so I looked it up. They're looking to do a senior citizen Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Did they define senior?
Yes, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm living for it. I want to see it, because people who are older give so 0 fucks about life that I cannot wait. I think it's going to be amazing.
I don't think there'll be any crying on this episode or this series.
Oh, there's going to be some rioting, though. There's going to be so many. There's going to be fisticuffs.
I don't think so. I think she'll be like, bitch, have them. I don't give a fuck.
Bachelor senior citizens are 65 and older.
Okay.
And on the application, I went through and looked. It's a very simple application. You have to indicate how many times you've been married.
What does that matter?
If you've ever declared bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
Have you been charged with any crimes? How many children do you have?
I feel like these are extremely personal questions.
Have you ever filed or had a restraining order filed against you? Okay. And then you have to list what you consider physically attractive and what kind of personalities do you like. And then do you have a bucket list? So I was like, all right. Well, those seem reasonable enough. Now, if you're going on, the whole premise is you go on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette to find a spouse. That's the whole point. And at the end, you end up with 3 finalists, and you choose from the 3 who you want to, quote unquote, propose to. So that's the whole premise of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So now they're going to do this with 65 plus year olds. I think this is just amazing, because think about all the little beer-bellied Tommy Bahamas drinking far too many beers, all the facelifts, all the desires to try to be young, the clothing, the outings. I mean, the pain of walking all day or having to do these little activities. I mean, Paula, there's just so much. There's so much. And there's going to be like the retired models that will show up.
Well, Jamie, think about all the making out and, like the canoodling. Oh, God.
I mean, there's just so much I want to see.
That's a whole category in an adult shop that you just bypass altogether because you're like, no, thank you.
Imagine when they get to the point where they have to introduce their families to their potential suitor.
I thought you were going to say something else when you said, imagine the part when they have to enter. I'm like, please don't say intercourse.
No, No, but there will be a lot of it because they'll be like, what? We only live once.
What's that sound? Oh, it's just leaves rustling. No, it's Harry and Betsy.
Oh, God, that's Russell. Again, Russell with the thing. He's such a pig, you know? There's going to be a lot of...
They have a big bowl of blue pills.
There's going to be... Oh, my God, yes. And then there's going to be, you know,
Look, snacks.
The gathering of the hens going, well, did you see Lydia once again got the date? And they're all drinking their Chardonnay.
Yeah, their white wine spritzers.
Like, hey, do you have any more of those muscle relaxers? I'm out.
Really. Yeah, in the morning, they all have their pill packs, and they're like, snap, putting their pills together for the day.
In the morning, everyone's taking their 7-day-a-week pills.
Freaking 5 a.m., the sun is rising.
It's like, I got to take my omegas.
Yeah, instead of like sunset dinners, they're going to have sunrise breakfasts. Because everyone's in bed by 7:30. Because everyone's up by
4 a.m. Our roast ceremonies are at the sunrise. Everybody will wake up in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go.
He proposed at 6 a.m.
Oh, God.
It was beautiful.
It was glorious. And I'm really ready for love again. We're going to move to Scottsdale and golf all the time.
Oh, my God.
Or play tennis. Paula, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Well, I'm glad
the shit
you
out of
are.
it. I think you're going to want to watch it too. Okay. And here's why. This is what's so weird. I hate this shit. It's super scripted. They clearly put them in uncomfortable situations. They're dumb. It's so dumb. But it is fun to watch. It is such a fun thing to watch.
Jamie, I have
can't help it.
Desire to watch 20-something women do anything. When I go to a bar and I see them, I get angry because
that is the whole point. That is the whole point.
That is not a good feeling. I just see them, and it's not because of how they look. It's just I see them, and I'm just like, God, I hate you. I hate
Paula,
you because I know you're going to get upset. Someone's gonna cry, and you're gonna order a drink that's just gonna piss me off, and it's gonna be green or blue or pink, and I'm just like. It's going to have some kind of cute name, and then you're going to dance with some boy, and you're going to look stupid because you won't even move your body. You're going to be pulling up your tube top all the time because you have no tits.
So the thing with The Bachelor, though, is that they're all age inappropriate. They're all way too young to be thinking about marriage. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is watching it and being so angry and going, why is this girl doing this to herself? What is her problem? Or when they drink too much, or when they fight and talk shit about each other. I'm like, I remember being this age. I remember all of this. It's like, I did all of these things. And that's why I love it. That is why I love it. And, you know, I was with you. I'm like, I am not going to spend one moment watching this garbage. I came upon it for some reason. And I sat there and started talking crap about it. And next thing I know, I'm DVRing it. I'm watching every episode. Daryl watches it with me. He is like sucked in. And it's brilliant programming. Because it's so garbage. It's like junk food. It's pure junk food.
When I'm at a bar and I see two 20-somethings like fighting, like yelling at each other, and it goes on for like longer than a minute or two, I put my hands to my mouth and I'm like, somebody punch someone, because I can't stand like the head tweak or whatever they do with the finger in the air.
When they're posturing.
It makes me want to walk over there and like smack their heads together and be like, yes, somebody do something or stop talking, because I don't want to watch you do this for any longer. I will punch someone and we'll get the party started.
I'm not sure if there was ever any physical altercations on The Bachelor Bachelor. I'm sure there have been, but I'm not aware of it because this is the first season I've actually watched.
Maybe I should go on there, and then if someone starts to get in my face, I'll just knock their shit out. And then
I don't know. Maybe
you know what? I think didn't two guys get in a fight one time and then they got kicked off the island?
That was on Paradise. Yeah, that was Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
yeah, they frown upon violence.
Maybe it would be different for girls, because like that would probably be like good ratings if they saw like two girls get in a fist fight.
It's always verbal, and they're always holding a cocktail. And the one I saw, they're like, I'm not going to let you do this to me, bitch. And she's like, who you calling bitch? And it's like, okay. And then someone stomps off. I'm not going to let you ruin this for me. It's like, it just makes me laugh. At one point, you can tell when everyone has synced hormonally. because there's a lot of tears and then there's a lot of kumbaya. It's really fun.
See, I'd probably be like, come here, you skinny fucking cunt. I'm going to pop your implants.
Well,
they'd be
anyway.
like, cut. Miss Todd, you can't say things like that.
You can't say
This is reality TV. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Well, no, you need to be on Love is Blind, which is on Netflix.
I'm not blind.
That one. No, that's not how that works. I told you about Love is Blind.
I thought that was the blind one.
No, it's when they can't see each other. They can only talk and communicate. And when they've decided that they have a connection, then they see each other face to face.
Jamie.
And then they go on vacation.
No one would have
And then they meet the families, and then I don't know. Apparently the season finale came and went, and like this week I have to catch up because I've only seen 2 episodes, and I think there's 5 or 6, so I need to get through it. But that one's great because there's profanity, there's alcohol, there's sex. It's like the whole thing, and so
I'm pretty confident no one would have a connection with me.
My favorite part that I've seen so far is when 2 people meet and he turns around and goes, "She did not look like what I thought she would." And he like walked off. And I'm like, oh my God, that is horrible. That's brutal. Can you imagine? It's like, we'll always be friends.
I've always wanted to have like an application that men have to fill out before like you go on a date with them. Like, I don't know. Like,
isn't that what online dating is?
Well, I mean,
isn't that what you have to do to get on like Plenty of Fish or whatever those ones are? Not Tinder, the other one.
No, I mean, they ask you like, well, all of them ask you like, height, weight, ethnicity, body type and all that stuff. But I mean, I want to be like, how many girlfriends have you had that lasted, over 3 years or,
well, I think that's just what you do on your first date.
Are your parents divorced? How many kids do you have? What's your highest education level?
You don't need a form for that. What you need
on a
is
scale of 1 to 10, 10 being large, 1 being tiny. How would you rate your penis? Erect.
Like no one is going to answer those questions. You have to have a conversation with somebody. That's what that is.
Yeah, but guys always just, I don't know.
If people would just be honest and communicate with other people that are genuinely looking for something, those types of conversations would occur. And you wouldn't have to find out and be ridiculously disappointed later. I mean, the penis thing, no. But I mean, everything else.
You think it's inappropriate to ask about penis size before you have sex with someone?
No, I wouldn't. I'm like, do you plan on having sex tonight? And he said, yeah. And I'd be like, okay, so what am I looking forward to? Circumcised, non-circumcised, size? What are we doing?
Are you a grower or are you a shower? I don't even know what that term means.
Are you manscaped? Well,
I don't really
grower
care about the manscaping thing.
Grower and shower would be: are you huge at first sight, or do you get huge but you look tiny until you're aroused? A grower means they may not look impressive, but then once they're erect, it's great. Shower is you see what you get right away.
I guess I've only ever seen most of them hard.
So you wouldn't really know.
I wouldn't know.
Well, there you go. All right. So I will definitely let you know if and when Bachelor Senior begins, because it's going to be amazing.
Okay.
All right. Finally, this better be worth it. This better be really worth it. You are struggling with bra shopping, which I have struggled with bra shopping my entire existence. I've never, and yes, I have been fitted more than one time in my life. I know what my bra size is, but it doesn't mean that every bra is the same. It's not. They're not.
Okay, so basically what happened is I don't know what happened. Either they grew or my body changed or I just gained. I don't think it's the weight gain. I think my body just changed, because here's the thing about breasts. Some people have like they're all up front. Some people have like a larger surface area. Some people's breasts start like mine. They start under the armpit and you have to like pull it all up. And, once everything, like I have like a lot of breast meat. Mm-hmm. And so mine started to not fit in my bra. And once I got everything in the bra, my nipples were hanging out.
Too small. Too small of a cup.
So I went and got the measurer, like the cloth measurer tape, and I did my measurements. I typed it into a little computer, and the size popped up, and I'm like, well, that's not correct because that's ridiculous. And so I said, we'll compromise. I'll go one down from that and
see what happens.
And we'll see what happens. So I've been to a couple stores, and once you go up from a certain size, they all turn into like the 18-hour bra, you know?
Yeah, they're all brown.
They're all brown
they're all
or white.
colored.
They're all smooth, and they cover like your whole chest, and they're all full figured. And I'm just like, is there no demi cup in sight? I mean,
no, I know.
Nothing is lace. And I'm just like, so basically these are bras for like 80-year-old women to, you know, lift up their tits and walk around. So I was horribly disappointed. And I don't like full figured bras because I'm boob heavy on the top. And so it kind of squashes them. And I don't want to look like that.
Right.
And I like cleavage. So anyways, I finally went to the store. I found one that wasn't ugly and was my size. And so I tried it on. Lo and behold, it fit, and it actually made me look thinner. Which,
ooh, what was it?
It was by Candies, of all companies.
Okay, like the shoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem was, though, is that the straps were too long, and they were already cinched down as far as they would go.
Yeah, we have small shoulders.
I know. So
we have tiny shoulders.
But I was shocked at how much thinner I looked because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, everything's in there. And and I fit. And so once I knew what style I needed. So I went on Amazon. I bought like 4 bras. They're going to be delivered today. And I guess I'm just going to have to accept my size. But
well, they do change. I mean, our bras, our bodies change all the time. And like, if you think about it, when you start your period or when you're, you know, whatever, it's like it's like I'm pregnant when I'm PMSing. My boobs are humongous. I'm like, what in the world? Like how? So I literally have bras that I wear only when I'm PMSing or on my period. And then I have bras on my quote unquote, you know, no bloat, perfect feeling, everything fits the way it's supposed to days. It's like, it's a variety, man. And it's really hard. I mean, and the thing is you can definitely find really pretty bras for very large breasts because, you know, hello, strippers, you know, they have beautiful lingerie and they have huge breasts, but it's very expensive, like very expensive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if I wanted to spend like $75 or $80 on a bra, I could get a decent one, but
try 100 or 150.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, and that was my problem is I'm such a cheapskate. I wasn't willing to look at anything over $40. And I'm just like, forget it. I went to Victoria's Secret and I'm like, this is a joke. Because they're just like, get this one. And of course they have like the skinniest models with A cups. And it's just like, oh, this goes all the way up to like a 42E. And I'm like, well, show a model then that, you know, can wear a 42E. I want to see what that looks like. Because this is the plus size section. And there is nothing plus on her.
Right. There's also actually, and I haven't looked into it, I haven't purchased anything, but I've read amazing reviews. That plus size model, Ashley
Graham. I tried to check out some of her stuff.
Everything's sold out.
Well, she doesn't sell anything at her particular website. Like it's all distributed, I believe.
Oh, no. I mean, maybe it's changed, but I was on her site last year looking at bathing suit tops because for me, I can wear a normal size on the bottom, but my boobs are like, oh, you must be 300 pounds. I'm like, no, I just have really big tits.
Right.
And a tiny shoulder, by the way, which is the worst because it's like, oh, so you're petite, but you have these big Mexican boobs.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I do. And it sucks.
Well, you know what's funny is that every time I look in the mirror and I don't have a top on, I'm just like, they don't look big. Like,
I agree.
To me, mine don't look big. I feel like I look like a B cup.
When I look down or I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, I know these are not tiny, but they don't look like embarrassingly like porn star big. And then I put a bra on and a shirt on and I see a picture and I'm like, good Lord, how do I even walk upright? Jesus Christ.
When we went to the comedy show, did I look like I had big boobs?
Yes.
Okay, see, all right.
Yeah, they were significant.
I didn't think they were that big. I don't know.
They were.
I know.
But you know what? I celebrate your ability to do it. I would never do it, but I'm very self-conscious of my breasts. I have been for a very long time because I know what they look like. I know how big they are. And I realize I think they're beautiful. I think my boobs are very beautiful, but I also have to kind of decide when I want to celebrate them.
Well, I'm at a really good weight right now, and my body has distributed, like my waist has distributed. Unfortunately, my ass is flat as a pancake.
Yeah, well.
And so the fact that I'm kind of slim, but my boobs are still huge, I'm like, you know what? Let's go with that. Let's go with that look. So
let's do it. Yeah. So, I mean, but I'm with you. I mean, obviously I realized when you were younger, you did not have a challenge with your boobs because you were a kid.
Oh my God, I was tiny. You know what? I think I was a B cup by 6th grade. And then I stopped.
And then that was it.
I stopped. And then maybe by like my sophomore or junior year, I barely became a C cup. And I was a C cup until I think I had Olivia, to be perfectly honest.
I was a D cup in my senior year in high school.
Yeah, no, I was a D cup until I had Olivia. And then I don't know where this other size came from.
And it's all gone downhill since then. I mean, I don't know why. Because I asked Daryl, I'm like, do I have like old sloppy tits? And he's like, he gets so offended. He's like, oh my God, no. And I'm like, okay, I realize that you're just glad you have access to boobs, but I'm just curious what are we looking at here? Do I look matronly? You know, what is the thing? He goes, no. And he goes, there's a difference between, you know, sloppy matronly tits and what he thinks I have. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to act like I don't see it. Like, I don't want to be one of those women, right? I don't want to be one of those women who thinks everything's hunky-dory and then somebody's like, you know, would it kill you to put on a supportive bra?
Yeah.
You know, would it kill you?
I've been told that they're a very, very nice shape and they have a nice firmness.
Yeah.
Very cute nipples and just a nice droop about them. Like, I've been told they're very beautiful. So I imagine we all have about the same. Now,
I would agree.
The only thing I've noticed lately, depending on what I'm laying down, there are certain soft spots. And so I'm just like, I'm not happy about that. Do you have soft spots?
I don't know what that means.
Like little spots that may have atrophied a little bit?
I don't have that. But
like, if I lay down, I'm just like, where's the meat? Like,
no, I don't have that. I consider this a compliment. Last year when my doctor was performing the palpitation on the breast exam, which I hate so much. It's like my worst thing is getting my breast exam.
Yeah, everybody loves to get felt up by their doctor.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that I'm afraid he's going to find something. And so I'm so unable to focus and just relax. So everything hurts. I think everything is a thing. And now he knows. He's like, if it feels like grapes, everything's fine. And so he has to remind me of that every year. So last year he said, okay, so let's see, you're not due for a mammogram, right? And I'm like, I'm over 40. So, and I've had 2. So yeah, he goes, I don't know why, but I guess, you know, physically, I think you're in your 30s. And my breasts included. And I went,
as he was touching your boobs, and you're like,
no, it was after. And I said,
like,
I will
take that. What do you mean by that?
I'll take that as a compliment.
Do you think my breasts feel like they're in their 30s?
He did. And I said, I will take that as a compliment. But as my doctor, I would encourage you to read my file before you say that again, because I don't want to be neglected because you think I look young. I appreciate it, but if I need a mammogram, I'm getting a mammogram. Come on.
God. That's like the time where, I don't know why, you know how you make small talk with your OBGYN when they're down doing their thing, and I'm just
Paula,
like, well, you know, I don't shave, and so he popped his head up and he's like, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh God. Obviously.
Mine was the opposite. He goes, are you going to Brazil sometime soon? I was like, excuse me.
You know what? Dr. Marshall, I think he was more of like a naturalist. Like,
for sure.
He discouraged doing anything extreme.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually glad he's passed, because if he knew about Gwyneth Paltrow and her website,
my God,
he would be in such an uproar.
He would be outraged.
Like, he would be mortified at the things that she encourages, like the vaginal steams and putting all these little garlic balls up your vagina or whatever else. He'd be like,
he would be furious,
because he used to tell me, he's just like, don't use like the gel Bath and Body Works soaps. He's like, just bar soap, rinse off with water, pat dry. He would he's
like, just keep it nice down there, but
just
don't
nice and
don't
clean.
Abuse it.
Don't go extreme with any kind of fragrant, overly scented gel. Loofah soaps and no douches.
Yes, he was very, very particular about health.
He was very old school, that the vagina will clean itself.
Well, he's not wrong.
Like it's a clam. It'll spit out the sand and it will take care of itself.
I miss Dr. Marshall. He was such a good doctor.
He was so sweet.
All right. Well, let's go on to our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
Yesterday was our first day of selling Girl Scout cookies in front of the grocery store. And so we did it
at the very end of the campaign?
Well, of the online campaign. Now starts like in front of the store's campaign.
I see.
So anyways, it didn't happen during that, but it happened. We were selling right around dinner time. Mm-hmm. And so we were done. I had to stay a little extra because the on-site mom, she had to leave after a half an hour. Our shift was a whole hour. So I had to stay and supervise the girls that were there. And then the other mom that was going to stay on site, she was like 15 minutes late. And so we wound up staying until like 6:15. And by the time we got home, or by the time we were headed out to go home, Victor was almost home. And so we were just talking about what we wanted to do. So we agreed that we'd all meet at Red Robin and we would just have like burgers. So we're walking into Red Robin and I just hear this screaming, like this little kid screaming. And I'm like, what the hell, And it wasn't like they were crying or anything. They were just like, ah! Just like screaming for no apparent reason.
Right.
So we're walking into the restaurant. They go to sit us at a booth and they sit us at the booth. And then just to the left of us is a table with the little kid in the high chair, just screaming at the top of his lungs, every 5 seconds for no apparent reason. And the mom is just, handing him a little menu, a crayon or something like that, but really making no effort to get him to stop. And I'm just like, why are parents like that? Like, you're in a restaurant that's filled with people. Why are you letting your child scream at the top of his lungs? It just irritated me. And so I was watching him, and so he screamed, and then he looked over at me, and I didn't really mean to do this, but my eyes were kind of like angry, and I looked at him, and I started shaking my head, no. And he kind of just looked at me, and his eyes got big. He did not scream for the rest of the time.
Oh, that's nice.
But the mom looked at me as I was doing it.
Oh, what did she do?
She just kind of smiled, and I stopped it, and I'm like, I just smiled. I'm like, But Ryan looked at me, and then he's just like, Mom. And I'm like, what? And he's just like, I can't believe you just did that. And I'm like,
why?
Well, I think it's because
I've done that.
Well, typically you're not supposed to like discipline somebody else's child. And I'm like, I didn't really like discipline him. I just looked at him and I shook my head. No, like your behavior is not acceptable.
I have done that and I have no problem with it. If you're buried into your phone and you're letting your kid act like a maniac, I mean,
that's the thing is she wasn't. She was just not stopping him.
I think I will tell you what I think has happened is that, well, first of all, I mean, awkward. You haven't. These are all ugly moments.
Oh no, it was definitely ugly.
Yeah,
but the thing about Ryan is, although he was kind of surprised, I think he was partially impressed because he didn't realize, how kids can like sense like what I'm doing is not okay. I need to stop.
God. Anyway, all right. So my awkward moment happened in Reno.
It did?
Yes. So several awkward moments happened in Reno.
I'm like, wait a minute, was
several?
That there?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, but the first big awkward moment that happened, well, I had two, but I'll tell you both because it was kind of a combo. It happened within an hour of each other. The first one was we were all waiting in line to check into our rooms, and I told Daryl, I said, I have got to pee. So I thought the bathrooms were behind us because I saw, in casinos where they have the general bathrooms for the casino floor, and it looks like the movie ones where there's a big round and you walk in one way and you can walk around and go in, and then when you walk out, it's
kind of like Arco Arena.
Yes, just like that. And I saw that when we walked in. I went, oh, okay. I said, well, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go pee real quick because it's literally 10 feet away. Okay, no problem. So I march on over there because I had to pee, go into the round, and it is not the bathroom. It was the employee locker room.
Oh.
So I walk in. I'm like, I literally walk in and I go, this isn't the bathroom. And then some guy sticks his head out and goes, can I help you, miss? And I was like, hello, I'm looking for the bathroom. He goes, oh, that's not that. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it with all of the locker rooms and the smell of cigarettes. This is definitely not the bathroom. So I found it on the other side of the casino, by the way. So I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. And so funny thing, Daryl did the same thing later, but he was drunk. So he has an excuse. I was not. So then we go up to the hotel room. And it's nice. We both agree the rooms were beautiful. So I'm in the bathroom and I'm putting out all my makeup. I'm setting up, to get ready for the evening. And so I'm setting up all my stuff. And then I have this bag that I keep everything in. And I put the bag underneath the sink area because there's like a shelf where all the towels and stuff were. Mm-hmm. So I toss it under there. And the entire wood panel that was hiding the pipes and stuff from the sink fell down hard. And Daryl's like, what's going on in there? And I'm like, well, I broke the bathroom. He's like, what? And he comes in, he goes, Jamie. And I was like, I don't even know.
When does he ever call you by your name?
Rarely. And so I said, I know. I go, it's broken. I broke it. He's like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just threw this under there and then the whole thing fell down. I go, it had to be broken already. There's no way that my little plastic bag broke this. So he had to go under there and literally hammer it back into place.
It probably was like propped up or something.
It was. I said, we have to fix this because I don't want this charge on the hotel bill. Because they're like, you broke our sink. I'm like, we've been here for 20 minutes.
You know what?
So embarrassing.
That place has changed so much. I was like, oh my God. The room was actually really nice. I was glad to be in the room, but the rest of the place was just
Paula.
crazy.
It was not impressive. I was very disappointed.
That's what I told Victor and the kids when I got home. I'm like, you guys, it's so different. I'm just like, it's just so different. I'm like,
yes.
I think it's because I told you this. I'm like, I think when we first started going, it had just changed over from Harrah's to GSR. And I'm like, I don't think anybody knew back then. And so there wasn't like a ton of people and it was still like really clean and nice. I said, but now that, the cat's out of the bag, like, everybody goes there now. So
it has definitely changed. And I remember the first time we went to that casino, it smelled clean. There was no cigarette smoke. The carpet was brand new. And it wasn't even that long ago. It wasn't like it's been years since I've been there. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, or maybe it was just a bad weekend. I don't really know.
I don't know, but I was really happy to go outside and get fresh air.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, all right. Well, that was my awkward moment.
Funny stuff. So, I think that's about it. Tune in on Wednesday for a new show. We'll be back. Other than that, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.